To my people, once again, welcome to Africa Renaissance channel. Well, my people, today I want us to discuss the country of Uganda. And this is a country that is located in the eastern part of the Africa continent. It is also one of the most significant countries in Africa. And this is because some of the most ancient African kingdoms were to be situated in Uganda. And here I'm referring to the Bagada Kingdom. Well, for quite some time now, the relationship between the United States and Uganda has been going through a rough patch. And this follows an action by Uganda's parliament to pass an anti-LGBT law. And so, for now, sometime, the USA has been exerting pressure on Uganda to repeal the law, but Uganda's president has been very adamant that he is not interested in repealing the law. So the USA has threatened to stop the issuance of visas to Uganda citizens. And after this back and forth, I find the response of Uganda's president, Yoweri Museveni, to be very interesting. And this is because he stated that he doesn't travel to the USA as a matter of necessity, but that he travels to the USA as a favor to the Americans. Uganda's president, Yoweri Museveni, went on to state that Uganda is the most comfortable place on earth.
I don't want to go to America. I go to America as a favor to the Americans that have come to visit you. Because here, what am I lacking here? Here, how can I go to America to do what? Eh? This is the most comfortable place on earth.
And now that he made that statement, if you think about the statement, I think he is very much accurate. This is because the main reason why Africans travel or seek to immigrate to the West is because of economic reasons. Was it not due to economic reasons? I doubt that the black people from the Africa continent would seek to immigrate to the USA. This is because in the USA there has been numerous incidences of racism against black people. And it is also important to say that the USA experiences extreme weather. You know, in the Africa continent, the weather is very manageable and it's very predictable. And so it is very difficult for you to find snow, you know, like it happens in the Western countries. So indeed, if we had better economic conditions in the Africa continent, I don't think that black people from continental Africa would seek to immigrate to the Western countries. And what I would like, you know, to ask myself is why the USA does not respect Africa countries. Because insofar as I'm concerned, international relations should all be about mutual respect between the various countries. Yeah? But it seems that the USA does not respect the sovereignty of Africa countries. And this is why the USA is seeking to dictate to the African people, to black people, what they are supposed to do. And I find this very absurd because, for instance, if we talk about the African culture, in the Africa continent, we have a culture, you know, that has developed over thousands of years. And one example of such culture is the practice of polygamy. Yeah? And polygamy is not acceptable in Western civilizations. It is not acceptable in Western states. So it would be very ridiculous of African people, you know, for us to travel or immigrate to the American continent and then force the Americans to adopt polygamy. Yeah, that would be very absurd. And the same way I find the practice by Americans, you know, coming to the Africa continent, enforcing practices which are not acceptable in the African culture down our throats. And I think this is height of disrespect. And this is why I would urge Americans, to change course and start respecting African culture in the same way we respect the Western or European culture. And what I would like to say is that the USA also demonstrates a lot of double standards in the way in which it deals with different countries of the world. For instance, the US has many friends in the Middle East, and some of these practices that the USA is pushing Africa countries to adopt, whether they like it or not, and they are not acceptable in the different Middle Eastern countries. And yet, the USA has never forced the Middle Eastern countries to adopt these cultures by force. And the US has been relating with these countries for a long period of time. And at no single point have they ever made a demand to the Middle Eastern countries to, adopt these cultures. So why do they find it very easy and convenient for them to force us to adopt these practices which are not acceptable in the African continent? For example, Uganda is, like I said, is one of the most significant countries in Africa. There are 56 tribes. They had kingdoms. And these kingdoms had been existing for thousands of years. And so they had a culture that had developed according to the special and unique circumstances of the country. And so it is right for Americans to respect the culture of Uganda and the people of Uganda and stop forcing them to adopt a culture that is very foreign and extreme to the people of that country. Well, that's all I have for today, my people. If you would like to watch more of this content, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Goodbye.